First-person combat skills are often neglected in Orgas of Star Citizen and seen as something less important, at least until someone like me who's played FPS games all his life boards your ship. My Orga has basically hired me as an FPS pro to refine our collective boots-on-the-ground combat skills, and here are my highlights to show you how much trouble you would be in if somebody like me made it onto your Polaris, for example, and perhaps even to convince you to get your boys together and make a training, something like this here, from time to time. What's up, friends? This is Manni, and in this video I'm gonna give you some basics on ground combat and what you should definitely avoid doing when you're having a firefight, be it on a ship or on the ground. One of the first things that I'm going to show you later is proning. Never, ever use the prone function when you're in combat with anybody. It basically gets you killed instantly. You're no longer able to move. This is not the type of game like Escape from Tarkov where laying on the ground gives you more accuracy and a more stable gun. And also, it's not the type of game where you shoot somebody once or twice and he is done, where you're positioning on the ground and that moment of not getting noticed in the first split second actually makes that difference. This is not this type of game. Here, you have to hit continuously, a lot. Next situation, if you're getting shot, you don't know where the enemy is, have your med gun out. Just use it to heal yourself against the damage that's coming in, or at least make very abrupt movement changes that I've done right here to mess with your enemy's aim. Again, you need to be mobile. Never prone, never stand still, ever. Okay? The moment you stand still is the moment every projectile of the enemy hits you, and you need to be able to move around, because if you type right to strafe right, you know you have to aim left. So you can counter your own movement, but the enemy does not know your movement, so he's gonna need a few milliseconds to understand and to correct his aim. In this situation here, I am in a 3 versus 1 against my friends here from the Orga, and I've downed one of them, and that means I'm immediately gonna flank from a different direction, and I'm putting the pressure on, because I can never ask for this good of a chance anymore to bring them down when I have them reduced to a 2-on-1 as compared to the 3-on-1, right? You feel like you're getting too many hits, just retreat, get that med gun out and heal yourself back up. You can literally out heal opponents. That med gun is your best friend. I'm gonna also give you a bit of a loadout suggestions later, but you see I downed another one. It's a 1-on-1 now, and here comes the med gun again, right? Even though it looked like I got downed, I wasn't quite, and I'm able to actually literally counter heal the damage with the med gun that he was doing with his clip until he was out of ammo, right? So that med gun is insane in the game. It's almost like cheating at that point. If you're trying to figure out where the enemy is and you don't know where they are, but you know they are somewhere, run around with your med gun in your hand, and just as soon as you take a hit, you just start healing. Because chances are he's not gonna kill you nearly as fast as you can heal yourself, and now you know where he is, right? You can just bait the position of your enemy. Next situation, the enemy is laying on the ground. Look how chanceless he is. Absolutely chanceless. It would take him forever to get back up and move somewhere, so he's not gonna get in cover, he's not gonna avoid any shots, he's not gonna hit me as well as I hit him, because, like I said, I am moving around. As soon as I strafe right, I know my aim has to go to the left to compensate my own movement. He does not know where I'm moving, so he's gonna need more time to understand how to compensate for my movement until he is Shroud or some other legend in aiming, okay? And so we're back on Horizon. We flew here, by the way, to do some FPS training on a nice map and a cool combat scenario, and I got attacked from behind. So what I now know is they know where I am. So I'm just gonna get all the way around and make sure they no longer have any idea where I am. That resets the positioning and gives me the full advantage, or the chance again, to spot them before they spot me, and I did. So I saw two of them walking around, one in this bunker area and another guy far behind. And it looks like there's even two in there, and I was lucky enough I was able to sneak upon them without them noticing me. And I'm even messing up here big time. I was trying to find the right moment to instantly down somebody, but it looks like I must have missed my shots just far enough to not get somebody down. But he didn't know where my shots are coming from because I'm running a suppressor. So he actually came running this way, thinking it might be cover, and it wasn't. And you see, none of them know exactly where I am. due to the fact that I'm running a suppressor here. Again, a big advantage is running suppressors when, especially on an SMG or even a sniper. It could be such a big advantage. Also, holding still, thinking you're invisible, is typically a good idea. As long as you're not moving at all, it is extremely hard for your enemies to spot you. And I saw them coming from a mile away, and I was just waiting for my chance, because in a 3-on-1, I know I need to be the one getting the first kill. But unfortunately, they apparently saw me there. And so I actually ended up dying in that situation. I was not as invisible as I thought. By the way, in case you're wondering, the weapon of my choice in PvP is typically the Lumen. You can buy it on Grimhex and other places. It is an SMG with 45 shots in the drum, a very slow fire rate for an SMG, but an extremely high damage per bullet in return, which means you have a high clip potential to get potentially 3 guys down with 1 magazine, and you fire for an extremely long time before this thing is depleted. So it is an excellent choice. Not the most stable weapon for long-range engagements, but for anything short to mid-range, it is a really, really good choice. It fires shots in a dual shot salvo, but you can just hold the button down and it enters into some sort of automatic mode. And it is rather stable on the full firing. Here, for a second I didn't get the guy, so nobody came for a second, so I downed him indefinitely. And enemies always have a problem finding exactly where I am. And when I get the chance, of course, we're using it here. Another suggestion I would make is I see a lot of people running med pens to heal them. I would suggest against using med pens for a number of reasons. Med pens are buggy as hell. Very often you just get the pen out and just ram it in, it didn't heal you up, and then you have an empty pen in the hand. Now you can't get rid of that empty pen for some reason because the game sucks on its inventory management, and so on, right? Then the number of pens is highly limited, you can only have 4 of them, and it is just not as useful. What I would suggest using instead is putting the, I think EpiPens are called, the green ones, in your pen slots, because those green ones are like in Escape from Tarkov, for example, painkillers. You can take them prophylactically before the battle, so that in case you're taking too much damage and somebody like blacks one of your limbs with a level 2 injury, that would mean you can no longer move around, you can no longer hold up your weapon even to defend yourself. So using prophylactically when you know you're expecting a lot of trouble, one of the green pens, tang, and now you can have a level 1, level 2, level 3 injury, doesn't matter. You're gonna be able to hold up your weapon and run, okay? Here, for instance, I was out in the open, and there was no chance for me to even fight him back. I know I'm not gonna win that fight, no matter what. The only way to stay alive in that situation is get that healing gun out and out-heal the damage. And I was really in trouble because there's enemies all over the place around me. But thankfully my aim is on, and my movement makes it hard for the enemies to hit me. And that is, again, your best friend is mobility in this game. In my opinion, in Star Citizen most of all, movement goes beyond above aiming. Aiming is great to have. It is super good to have perfect aim, like pop, snap on the head. I just got him probably a quick headshot there in a snap headshot, but that doesn't get him killed because you need too many hits here, right? And it's not like Counter-Strike where you snap on, pam, headshot, and he's gone. No, here you need to hit too many times to do that. So movement is actually the thing that keeps you alive and that decides over victories or losses, right? And back to the med gun, I would suggest running the med gun to do the healing and to put the green pens on your belt for immunities to any kind of injury in that case, right? Because that med gun heals you up, I don't know, 15 times or so, all the way from 0 to 100. That's how much healing power is literally in there. And the healing speed, as I've shown you earlier, it is so high that you can almost counter heal incoming damage. At the very least, if the damage is coming from further away and not every projectile is hitting you perfectly, that's when the med gun will just out-heal anything. So you can use it to spot enemy locations, run around with your med gun, and just wait for the shots to come from somewhere, and then you know where he is. You know, and it's really a good thing. You can push enemies extremely aggressively with that med gun. And also you can revive your friends, and you never have to switch anything because it almost never runs out of juice. Right before a battle, it's also useful to remove your tractor beams from your body. Put them in the backpack or something so that if you press the button 5 to get the med gun, it comes immediately and not first some tractor beam so that you have to press again to get to the med gun. So also very useful here, although there is a disadvantage to that. If you're really playing with friends and one of them gets downed, you might want to have a tractor beam ready to quickly draw him with a tractor beam out of enemy fire to revive him. So has an upside or a downside depending on what you need. Just consider that, okay? In terms of weapon loadout, like I said, the Lumen is an excellent choice. FS9 is an absolute all-round performer. All the P weapons, the P4, the P8 are great. You can use any of them. The P6 is really good as a sniper rifle, high damage potential, and also you have a decent fire rate, good enough ammo clip capacity. The 03 sniper is pretty okay as well, but unfortunately it needs a lot of hits to take somebody down. Galant rifle could do okay. The Karna is a little tricky when it comes to the charged shot. I wouldn't recommend using it, and also the double shot, not ideal in my opinion. And the new Parallax rifle could be really good, but it only has 30 meters optimum range. No recoil though. The damage fall off after 30 meters is pretty strong though, so it might not be the ideal weapon as an all-rounder, but it could be really good in short range for that. Shotguns altogether, ultra short range only, and even then, the Ravager 212 twin shotgun seems pretty good, but don't take that one that you have to charge up to do a real strong shot. Aside from that, of course, FS9, like I said, all the P weapons are awesome, and Demiko and F55 or whatever the light machine gun is called, you don't hit anything at longer range because those things just have such a recoil. It just goes up. You only hit them with the first projectile, so what you should probably be doing is use them. So it's just a thing that you just hold the button down, you enter into a corridor, and you just mow down everything that's in there. That's where they shine. S71 maybe, or the P8 assault rifle variant. I have to test this a little more though. I haven't tested the Ripper SMG yet, might have to do that. And again, the Parallax Volt rifle, great at short range, I think, but no all-rounder. Also, heavy armors, I would always go with the Morozov. It's a dark, heavy armor with a small hitbox. I've tried the Zeus Exploration Suit, for example. It is a fat boy armor, really fat, but the problem is it also seems to increase your hitbox, despite only blocking the same 40% damage reduction, or having the same damage reduction. So, try and choose a heavy armor that has not as large of a hitbox or size, and that is preferably dark without any shining elements to it. No lights in the helmet that are shining red, blue, or whatever that gives away your location. Or the new armor that came in with the Banu event, where you basically have like literally LED stripes and shining lights on your armor all over the place. Don't take them. There are these shining helmets with this mane on top that is like a LED stripe or something. Don't take it, obviously. You want to be dark, you want to be 40% armor reduction or damage reduction, and you want to be having the smallest possible hitbox for that category. I love a lot of light armors in the game, and I wish I could use them more often, but you're simply at a disadvantage when you're using them. Because the mobility difference, yeah, it is there, but it's not big enough. You cannot even use the large backpacks anymore for any kind of looting. It's not usable. And you're basically also at a disadvantage in FPS combat, as you can see. And one of the most important things here at the end is be the aggressor. Do not be defensive. You have an advantage taking the initiative in the game, and the netcode in the game supports it. You come around the corner, you see the enemy before he can actually typically see you on his screen. There are a few milliseconds that play into your hand. A fatal kill you do will stop any further projectiles from the enemy players coming at you, even though on his screen he technically still fired them. So you'll basically avoid more damage. Aggressor wins. By the way, here is a bit of a weird hitbox problem on the platform. They extend further than it looks like, and I was able to understand that pretty well and make that 3-on-1 into 1-on-1, 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 because I always just kept one guy so that they can hit me and I can hit them. But yeah, so let me summarize the advantages one more time. Finish off enemies as soon as you can, whenever is possible. Push them when you get somebody down, because they'll be trying to figure out how to revive one of their friends. Red indicator when you're shooting someone, pay attention to it. It is a kill or a takedown. So whenever the red indicator flashes out, you downed him. Understand that. Never stand still, be as erratic as humanly possible. Medgun is God mode. Use it especially when you expect to be fired upon but you don't know exactly from where. Medgun out. Rather be the aggressor than to go into the defensive. Use the netcode to your advantage and use meta builds, heavy moguls of armor, top DPS weapons that run relatively stable. Okay, so that concludes the most important tips and tricks that I can give you here as a first-person expert. If you have any further questions, write them down. I'll be answering as much as I can. And also, let me know if you have some feedback from me, right? And other than that, what do you think about some sort of guide like this? Would you want to see more such as this? I'm not quite as good in dogfighting as I am in this here, and by the way, here, he's standing still. Free kill. See you around. Manni signing off. Bye-bye, my friends. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.